Hi, friends. Welcome to another Snuggle Bunny story time, the 12 nights of holidays from around the world. Tonight, we are going to be reading a book called The Pennsylvania Dutch, Night Before Christmas. And in this book, um, there's a combination of St. Nicholas and the Belsnickel, which is the Pennsylvania Dutch kind of Santa. He is the one who visits all of the children before Christmas and awards or punishes them based on their behavior. He's a thin, cantankerous, cranky old guy. He rides in on a plow pulled by cows and steer, and it's just a really fun book that we're going to share tonight. So let me change over to the camera, and we'll get started with Pennsylvania Dutch, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Right, here we go. There he is, Belsnickel. Pennsylvania Dutch, Night Before Christmas. It was night before Christmas, and all over the farm, not a Snuggle, no cause for alarm. The socks were hung by the chimney just so, with the hopes they get filled up from the ankle to toe. The nix noodles snoozin' without any sound. In their heads clear toy candies been dancing around. And Mama and me, while we out in the light, crawled under the covers and snuggled up tight. Then from the outside we hear something fierce that made our eyeballs and rattles our ears. There was crashing and banging, and could it be true? Did our ears deceive us, or was that a moo? Then off to the window we ran in the dark, kicked the dog accidental, he started to bark. Then we looked through the window, and coming through the gate, it wasn't one moor we saw, it was 8. 4 cows and 4 steers, and they were harnessed somehow, and were dragging behind them an old-fashioned plow. And there, just behind it, as sour as a pickle, was a fella we knew had to be the Belsnickel. He wiggled that plow to keep going on course. I think he'd done better if he'd had a horse. So dopplich and slow those 8 doomers did run, and he growled and he grumbled and yelled at each one. Now Jakey, now Becky, now Rachel, Josiah, on Mino, on Sarah, Esther, Obadiah. And what where you going? There's nothing universe than stomping your hoofs into stray fertilizer. They got through the barnyard without any hitch, and Belsnickel grumbled and raised a big switch. Climb up on that roof now, and you make it snappy. You don't want to make me no more unhappy. Mach off now that trestle, then to the porch roof, and don't get no ivy wines caught in your hoofs. I'll get awful grease lick if you make me fall. So clamber up, clamber up, clamber up all. Like chickens all took then to fly, they're trying, or the mess kids are making when shoes they are tying. So clumsy they climbed up an inch with each moo, but somehow they made it, and it's wonder me too. And then in its winkle we heard on the roof each cow that was roosting round, stamping its hoof. The cracks of the roof timber filled all our ears, 'cause it just wasn't built for 4 cows and 4 steers. But now all the kitties had run into our room, frightened by all those cracks and those booms. To tell them what happened, I was going to begin, when chumping the zooey, the ceiling fell in. Down came the Belsnickel, plop on in our bed, a few shingles making down right on his head. And when we looked up through the hole in the ceiling, it was just a little worried we're feeling. For there overhead was the 8 head of cattle, still stomping so hard that it made the walls rattle. We felt if we'd all been cursed, and reflected that the cows would fall down into our bedroom next. But they on the roof stayed, and I wiped away sweat, then looked at that scary old Belsnickel yet. He got to his feet and was brushing his breeches, holding his sack and using his switches. He was dressed all in black from his from his toes to his hat, and he frowned and he said, "Hey, what are you looking at? Ain't you never seen no Belsnickel before?" Well, I had, but the others had come through the door. His beard was all strublick, as white as snowfall, and his belly so skinny, it nearly was all. I couldn't help thinking that this crabby guy could use a few dumplings and a shoe fly pie. His eyes, they looked angry, but though they seemed wild, when he looked at the kitties, he just sort of smiled. Then he wiped away like he'd made a mistake, or for him some Schnitz und Kep Mama should make. Then he asked all the kitties, "Have you been bad or sweet? If it's good that you've been, I'll give you a treat. But if you've been bad, I'll warm your britches with one of my special bed kitty switches." They said they'd been good and were telling the truth. Still he glowered at Amos. He grimaced at Ruth. He frowned down at Abner, who just kind of grinned, and the Belsnickel leaned down and tickled his chin. Ugh, crabby I might seem, but don't you forget, I ain't never had to spank one kitty yet. It just must be something around in the air makes the kitties act better at this time of year. So his switches he dropped, and he opened his sack, and he handed out oranges, yo-yos, and jacks, a dolly for Ruth, and a wood horse for Amos. We laughed as we watched him, and who could blame us? And finally he gave Abner a teddy. With that final gift to leave, he was ready. "But," he said, as he crawled over the shingles and sticks, "I'll send over Stoltzfus to your broke roof to fix." Then he chumped the hole through up to his baiting plow, and he yelled to his livestock, "Get going, and now!" Down to the ground and without a complaint until we got done, and though the houses all ain't. They sprung off the roof to the yard way below, where they got stuck in near 40 inches of snow. And that Belsnickel yelled, brushing snow off his head, "Merry Christmas, zoo all. Now just go back to bed." The end. That's a rather silly version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Please forgive my mispronunciations. In the Pennsylvania Dutch culture, words that begin with W start with the V sound, like instead of we, it's V. And words that begin with V start with the W sound. So it was a little bit hard for me to get that going there. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this silly book, Pennsylvania Dutch Night Before Christmas. We are going to be having some more books for the rest of the time until the Christmas holidays. And I'm looking forward to you joining us again for another Snuggle Bunny story time tomorrow night. If you have not done so already, please go to drterirouse.com/SBBC. That's DRTERIROUSE.com/SBBC. To enroll in your membership to the Snuggle Bunny Book Club, where these books will be housed for a really long time. And as a member of the book club, you'll have access to these books and those that are already in the library and all those that are about to come for quite some time. And it is an annual membership. And make sure that you use the special code 20 uppercase OFF 20 off to make sure that you get your $20 discount. Also know that with every full paid membership, and I didn't mention this, I didn't mention this before, but I want to mention it now. With every full paid membership, we are gifting a subscription to a family that is under-resourced, and so that they can also enjoy these and many other books to come. So I hope that you'll join me for the Snuggle Bunny Book Club, where we sit, we get together, we have spent time with our children and our other family members. It's where we can create some peace and quiet. We go back to being a childhood and create those memories with our children. And I hope that I'll see you there. So everyone have a great rest of your night, and I will see you again for the next story in the Snuggle Bunny Storytime 12 Nights of Holidays from Around the World.